to this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what's up? Welcome back once again. It's your favorite time of the week, and we all know that's Keepin' It Rio time. Today is an epic Keepin' It Rio, folks. For this is episode number 250. And when I did episode 1, like almost 5 years ago, I had no clue there would be a 250. My goal is 2,500, so we're plugging along, getting there. And I'll do a quick overview because it just needs to. This is an epic event. So episode 1 we did, it was myself and a few of my buddies. We spent about 30 minutes BSing about our roofing company, and we went on about our business. 50 weeks later, we hit episode 50, which is a major milestone. And in episode 50 of Keepin' It Rio, we actually announced our first ever monetary sponsor, which was Mike Code. And big shout out to Mike Code for being our first monetary sponsor. I had a hot sauce sponsor prior to that, but I was compensated in hot sauce, which was amazing as well. I've still got like 30 cans of hot sauce in my closet to this day, but we did that. We go on to another epic milestone, which was 100. Episode 100 featured Benny Fisher from Big Fish Roofing over in Pennsylvania somewhere. 150, Becca Switzer graced us with her presence. And we shared many fun stories of selling Cutco and throwing oil on people at White Castle. That was fun. Episode 200, my partner, Jason Shumway from Bradford Exteriors and Bradford Roofing Supply, and also Rio Blanco Roofing, was my esteemed guest. And today, ladies and gentlemen, episode 250, I have gotten the one person that's been on Mount Rushmore of my wish list for guests for 4 years. And it's taken up to 4 years in episode 250. I had to prove that the show was going to be around for this man to take the time to be on it. And I couldn't be more happy because today we've got the CEO of my favorite sponsor, which everyone knows is Roofr. I'm always talking about how great Roofr is. And now today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to find out all about the guy who made Roofr as great as it is. So with all that, that's a long-winded way of saying, welcome to the show, Richy Nelson, CEO of Roofr. How's everything going today, my friend?
Dude, thank you for having me. I'm sorry it's taken so long, but I'm pumped to chat. And first, isn't it Roofr?
I was told otherwise. Now, this is one of those age-old debates that I have with people at trade shows and events all the time, and I'm like, no, it's not. And I think there was a, what was it, Rufus the other day was kind of pissed off that people were calling it Roofr. So that's the first question that we have, getting right out of the gate. We'll figure out everything else later, but the correct pronunciation of the company directly from the CEO is
Roofr. No, I'm just fucking with you. It's Roofr. Oh, wait. Am I allowed to swear on here?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's still going to be the same badass program, whether you call it Roofr or Roofr. But we love everything about it. And I've been a user for 7 years now of Roofr. And it's the only program that we use at Rio Blanco. I love everything about it since the first time I used it. Let's go back a little bit in time, because 7 years ago, Roofr was a brand new program that had just hit the market. And I saw it one day and I thought, you know what? That looks kind of cool. Had a subscription to another one, and I just wanted to measure roofs maybe a little bit easier than what I was doing. And y'all fit the bill perfectly. So we had the most amazing measurement tool in history, but it didn't start there. Let's talk a little bit about the start, my man. Obviously, when you build a software company the magnitude of what you have, people assume that you're probably a tech nerd or something like that.
Far from.
However, I don't know that that's the case, is it?
Oh, I'm far from a tech nerd. I can kind of talk the talk and walk the walk now, but I mean, my engineers watching this, if they are, will say, no, you can't. But no, I'm a roofing contractor by trade. So for anyone out there who hasn't, heard my story, first time on a roof, I was 12 with my uncle, who was top of my dad, who was top of my grandfather, full family of roofers. My uncle, who is, everyone knows Nick, who is the co-host of the Roofr podcast. Nick is my cousin. So his dad woke Nick and I up when we were 12 years old and said, wake up, you're working for the family business. By the afternoon, we were both on the job site. We weren't allowed on the roof. So our moms were like, "You're not allowed on the roof until you're 16 years old." So we were only on. My mom doesn't sound like that. I don't know why I did that impression. Mom, I love you. But so we were on the ground picking up garbage, and then we were doing cap cutting competitions to see who could cut the caps the fastest. Back in the day, we didn't really use the full like a gaff cap. It was the old 3-tab shingles that you would cut. Yeah,
absolute dog-eared.
Yeah, so we would have cap cutting competitions anyway. So started when I was 12, every summer from 12 till 24 on a roof, banging on shingles. Left the family business when I was 24, took a job with a big roofing company doing sales and project management. And it was then when I realized how broken and archaic the workflows were for roofers to measure roofs, quote roofs, win business, collect payments, manage jobs, communicate with customers. And the company I was with, it was a great company. It was one of the biggest up in Canada. And a lot of it was pen and paper proposals. I was running around measuring roofs with a tape measure. And I go back to my boss. I'm like, dude, like, we can do this from the sky. We can create digital proposals. Like, our CRM doesn't need to be a whiteboard in the office. And I started looking at software, and I realized there was a bunch of point solutions that kind of did one of these things or one or two of these things. And there was no one that actually had this end-to-end operating system that powered an entire workflow for a roofing contractor. And so I quit my job, I sold my house, and I dumped everything I had into Roofr. Now, we started as a marketplace. I didn't have the funds to start a full end-to-end operating system. And I thought, what's the MVP here? I want to control the lead flow as well. So it was like end-to-end, like give you leads and then software to manage the business, cheaper materials. That was my initial idea. And so we started as a marketplace. So a marketplace being like an Uber for roofing, connect roofing contractors to homeowners. And we didn't have, it was going well. But we didn't have enough roofers to meet the demand of the homeowners. We had so many homeowners coming through the system, we couldn't get enough roofers to join the platform and get leads from us. And so what we did was we thought, okay, what can we launch fairly quickly and give it away for free or near free to roofers that they use every day, build trust with those roofers, and then see if maybe they want to join the marketplace, i.e. lead service, after they've tried out measurements. So we launched if you recall, the DIY tool, which you could draw it yourself. And that started to take off. And we were getting a lot of roofers then interested in joining the lead service. It was right in there in their dashboard. It said leads. And then they were coming to us and saying, I remember I was getting messages, I think maybe from you, from some of the other roofers on Facebook, like, Richy, I'll pay you $10 if you just draw this for us. And so we launched the Roofr report service to draw the roof reports for the roofers. And it was, I think it started at $10. And that exploded. We did more revenue, I think, in the first, 6 to 9 months or so of launching that product than we did on the marketplace. Try to build that for years. So we had a bunch of technical debt that didn't really fit with the new tools. And we thought, you know what, let's sunset the marketplace. Let's eventually repackage that as our now instant estimator. But for now, let's focus on building out this end-to-end operating system for the roofing contractor. So we launched a report service, then we launched proposals. And then proposals was launched, and roofers were coming to us saying, we love this tool. It's way better than all the other proposal software out there, but I need to integrate with my CRM. I can't just have just a single proposal software. So we knew we were launching a CRM. We weren't about to do an integration with, the other CRM platforms in roofing.
There are no other CRM platforms in roofing. Come on.
Yeah. So we weren't about to do an integration with them. And so we eventually launched the CRM. And then from there, it's the CRM, and you got measurements, proposals that turn into a contract, an invoice, a payment, a material order, and then everything in between: job scheduling, customer communications, automation, workflow management. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of stuff, but it's an end-to-end operating system for a roofer. So that's my long-winded story of saying kind of how we started and where we are today.
Well, it's been quite the journey. And I remember those early days, and I remember seeing that tool and thinking, all right, this is pretty good. Never having any idea what was going to come of it. And to watch the development over the years and to see how things have continued to evolve and how it's grown, and being a full-time user of the CRM and all the features, what you just did there was amazing, because I do a personal ad for Roofr on every episode, and I'll have people that have nothing to do with roofing on, and I'll be like, Mary Lou, have you heard of Roofr? And then I'll give her the whole thing. And it's like, it's your beginning. It's from your first point of contact with the homeowner all the way to the final payment and beyond, everything inclusive for your roofing company. So I sound pretty good. The CEO's got a similar pitch to me. I love that.
I love it. Nice.
So when we started using Roofr, it was the measurements and everything was awesome. And I remember probably, and I don't even know if you'll remember this or not. I hope you do, because this was a pretty cool moment for me. But I guess it was about maybe 6 years or so ago. You had reached out to me on social media, on Facebook Messenger, and it was like, "Hey, man, I appreciate what you put out there about our company, and you're a champion of our service and all this, and we appreciate it." And you were getting ready to have some people look at potentially investing into the company at that point. And I remember that you asked me if I would have any problem with talking to them, just to tell them about my experiences. And it's like, yeah, that would be awesome. I'd be more than happy to.
I remember this, of course.
I remember these guys calling me, and I was telling them the whole thing about it. And it was like, I think these guys are going to figure out something bigger. Like, I don't think it's just going to be a measurement tool, but there's going to be so much more to it. And I would like to hope at some point in my life that maybe one of the words I used there somehow may have helped along with that process. And it was an honor for me to have, you reach out and say, "Hey, man, we value your input to the point where we would like for you to speak to these people. We know you're not going to make us look bad." And hopefully that worked out, and it's been amazing ever since. So let's talk a little bit about this. You start off with the measuring tool, like you say.
So first, Chuck, I vividly remember that, and thank you, because I think at the time it might have been I think it was Bullpen Capital, one of our investors.
It was Bullpen. Yep.
Yeah. So they ended up investing. They invested millions of dollars. They've invested multiple times now. They're still on the board, one of our great investors. And of course, you were a big part of being able to make that happen. When a venture capitalist is doing an investment in, let's say, a software company, they want to get the real feedback from the customers. I'm honest, and I can tell them how the customers feel about us and what they say, but they want to hear it from you guys. Like, "Chuck, what do you like? I remember that you were probably asking you things like, what do you don't like? What could they build next? Like, what are your challenges with the software?" And so, even constructive criticism in those conversations is always super helpful, because it likely, how close we are to our customers.
Absolutely.
And so when you guys are telling us, "Oh, I wish they would build invoicing and payments," like, yeah, I've already communicated that to the investors, that that's going to be in our roadmap. And so it all worked really well. So thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even looking for that. I just thought it was a cool story, because that was, the early days. And from that, it goes from being a free lead service for which you basically threw everything on the line. You sold your house, quit the job, said, "Dude, I'm doing this." And I know for a fact that can be a daunting task and can be a little frightful at times as well. But as you start to see the thing succeeding a little bit, starting to get some momentum, more and more people are using it, the opportunity comes to then start this expansion into what the ultimate vision is. Tell me a little bit about how you go from the early initial stages into the, now instead of just being a measurement tool, we're going to start adding other features along the way, and ultimately become what we are today, which is your full service, all inclusive CRM, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not using Roofr, I've said it for 240 episodes. I don't know what's wrong with you at this point. I know Richy will agree with me. If you're not using Roofr, something's wrong at this point. But what was that like for you, as far as, finding the people? Because obviously it's hard enough to do a measuring tool and to get it out there, but then to move to the next phase, as a guy that's been roofing since he was 12 and doesn't have a lot of technical expertise, what does it look like for you as far as development, getting people on board with the vision, and actually going through and making that first phase happen?
Yeah, so I have a co-founder. His name's Kevin, Kevin Redmond. So it's funny, how we actually met was my wife went to high school with him. And so Kevin's been with us. He's the chief technology officer since the beginning. He's still here as the CTO, and he grew and built the engineering org. He was the first developer. He hired our first engineer, Rick, who actually had his 8-year celebration, I think, yesterday. He's been with us for 8
Nice,
years.
Rick.
Yeah, Rick, our boy Rick. And so Kevin really built out the engineering side. I'm, the CEO, and I'm overseeing. Kevin reports to me technically, and I'm overseeing the entire business. But really, like, it was built out by and led by Kevin, and then we hired a great engineering VP. His name is John, and so um, on there's been a lot of great hires on top of those two, but um, a lot of what you see today is really a result of us just talking to our customers. Like, it doesn't matter what Richy wants or what Richy thinks that the customers want. It's what are our customers asking for every single day. The lighting went all weird on here. I don't know if it's just maybe my lighting, but anyways, it doesn't matter what Richy wants. Like, what are the customers asking for every single day? We vividly track this. How often is someone asking for this? What's the impact on their business? And we structure our roadmap based on what our customers want. And so what you see today was really just a product of us, talking to our customers. And there's still a lot more to build, of course, but it took a lot of hiring amazing people. We've got a team now of 250 people at Roofr. About half of the org is or so is R&D. I think we have over 100 people on engineering, product design. And then, we've got marketing, finance, sales, so on. But what you see today is really a product of all 250 of those people providing amazing customer service, talking to the customers, marketing the product, selling the product, helping users wherever they can get onboarded. And it's been a journey, man. It's been there's been a lot of stressful nights. Say I've lost a lot of hair. I've gained some lbs, but thank God I have a very supportive wife. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I love it because you're right. The team is what ultimately defines the success of the organization. And you've put together an amazing team. The thing that I really love is the culture that you guys have built. And I wanted to ask you this question specifically because I think it's fascinating. The majority of your 250 employees are remote location, right? You guys,
all of them.
Every person that works at Roofr is working remote.
Yep.
So let me ask you this. How do you develop such a strong culture with your team? Everybody is going above and beyond to do their very best to make sure that they represent the brand and the company to the best of their ability. I know it's kind of difficult when you've got a bunch of people in a room together, but when you've got them spread out literally all over the world, what kind of challenges do you guys face trying to keep that culture what it is? Is it a challenge, or is it something that everybody just fully embraces? And if you get a bad apple somewhere along the way, they kind of self-police themselves and get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so one, the buck starts with me. I've got to set a great example, and it really comes down to, so when we think about culture, it's not like, we don't have an office, but if we did, some people are like, oh, ping pong tables in the office and beer on tap and good coffee and whatever. That's not it. It's the values we all embody on a day-to-day basis. It's how we feel when we work together. It's how we communicate with each other. It's the values. So when you go through an interview process at Roofr, it's roughly 6 interviews. It is not an easy company to get a job at. And when we're interviewing all of these people, we're really trying to drill down on, are they aligned? Like, obviously you have to be smart. You have to have the experience, or, ideally the experience we're looking for. But do they embody the values that we all embody? Like, are they resilient, or do they have positive discontent? Like, is high performance, important to them? Do they have, so we're looking and asking questions to try to fish this out. So first, it starts with the interview. And then now you've got everyone that's joining, we feel like are really embodied into the culture, embodying the values and are, part of that culture that we've created. And then you live it every single day. It's not just values on a website for us. It stems from the top. So it stems from me, and that goes down to our executive leadership, and then the executive leadership goes down to management, and then to all of the individual contributors, and everyone's just living it. And so you got to stay core to your values, and you got to establish those values and make sure that you only bring on people that are aligned with those. Now, having a remote company is challenging for sure. There are so many times where we're doing something, I'm like, oh, I just wish I had the whole team in a room right now, and I got a big whiteboard, and we could brainstorm on this session. There's a lot of tools now, like whiteboarding tools like Miro, where you can, virtually brainstorm. But I mean, if you're like me, like that in-person energy, it at times it just doesn't. There's not a replacement for it. And so what we do at Roofr is we try to meet up at least once a year. I mean, sometimes it's twice, but once a year we fly the entire company in to a single location, and we try to. Sorry, let me back up. We meet once a year, single location, and we all essentially work together for 3 days. And we all work together for 3 days. We do team building at night, and that kind of bridges that like in-person connection. We also try to do individual meetups on a local basis because, roughly 250 people. A lot of the company is in Canada, and they're scattered across all of the major cities. So, there's like 20 or so people in Vancouver. We encourage them to meet up as much as they want. We'll rent a co-working space for the day. They all go meet up at a WeWork. They work together. It's not necessarily per department. It could be like an engineer, a marketer, a salesperson. They all go work together for a day. And then they go out at night, have some dinner, do an activity or something. And so we really try to encourage that day-to-day, that in-person human connection. It's incredibly important because we're 100% remote.
Yeah, I think it's amazing to see that because honestly, you wouldn't think that it would work as well as it does, but it's it's an endorsement to your leadership and to the company that you guys have built. The people are strong with it because they know, like you say, the key to this is communication. And one thing I will say is this: I don't know how many times I go onto my Facebook and I'll see a question about Roofr. And the first thing that I'll see for an answer is, hey, I'm the CEO at Roofr. Any questions I can answer? And it's like, you know what? That's the real guy. He's really, really looking.
It is not a bot. People joke. They're like, is this an AI? Like, does Richy have a VA that's, answering all this? Like, no, this is me. And it might be the reason for my ultimate divorce one day. My wife is always asking me why I'm on my phone all the time. But no, in all seriousness, like that is me. I actually had a podcast recently with Pete, and we were talking about this, and it feels natural to me. It's like I'm home in my own habitat. I'm talking to all the roofers. Like I'm not your typical like Silicon Valley, Stanford grad tech founder. I'm a roofing contractor, and so I feel most extroverted and most energy, and I just feel the best when I'm talking to fellow roofers. And so you'll see me commenting a lot of times, but then after I'm commenting, I'm DMing that person and I'm having a side conversation with them. And oftentimes I'll just pick up my phone and video call them on Messenger. I did this on yesterday with a roofer, and he picked up and he's like, "Oh, hey, Richy, what's up?" It's like the CEO's calling me right now.
What you doing?
I'm like, I want to dive into this feedback. This is really good feedback. Do you mind if you can like share your screen? And so, I mean, I'm always in there. I love it. It's probably a little bit unhealthy, to be honest. So I'm like, it's very. I'll be in a meeting at work, and if I'm not, if I'm on a Zoom, and if I'm not like needed to be fully in the meeting, I'll just get distracted and you'll see me like commenting on Facebook. So I have to like rein it in sometimes, but yeah, no, that's me, and that's never going to change.
And I think that's the most
I
awesome
hope
part of
not.
the entire thing is, I want to share a quick story real fast about something that just happened a couple weeks ago. And this is a prime example. I made a post on the Roofr private group, and I was just asking if
Roofr
anybody had
unlocked.
had an issue with material ordering. I was having a
Mhm.
problem with quantities. They weren't transferring over correctly from my CRM to my ABC supply when it was ordered. They kept calling me and saying, hey, you didn't order any shingles, you didn't order any drip edge, and everything was good. I made this little comment on there, and sure as could be, I got a DM from the CEO of Roofr just a few minutes later, and he
I
said,
was
hey,
about to
tell
ask
me.
you to share your screen to show me what was going on, but
Yeah.
okay, I
And
remember.
so we
Yeah,
we took care of it, right? And you said, hey, I'm gonna let me know about the order and I'll figure out what's going on.
yeah.
About 2 days later, I got a phone call from the lady at ABC, and she said, hey, you know what, Roofr called, they're trying to figure out what's going on, can you walk me through the problem, yada yada. Found out there was some kind of a bug that happened when they switched over from the old to the new software that ABC did. She
Okay.
said, oh, I
Yeah.
found the problem right here, it's not a Roofr issue at all. And I said, well, you know what, I'm going to tell everybody that it was not a Roofr issue because it wasn't a big deal. But the fact of the matter is, you reached out and that problem was solved. And that was a pretty, that was a pretty high level problem from what I could gather.
Hmm.
And it was solved. I ordered 2 jobs this week, and I didn't have anybody calling me saying that there were problems. So that problem was resolved because the man was paying attention in the groups, and he went above and beyond and took care of it himself. So it doesn't it speaks volumes to the kind of guy that you are and how serious you are about Roofr and just taking care of the people, and that's what I love the
Thank you,
most
man.
about it. So
Thank you.
I get a lot of people that reach out to me because of the podcast and because I do love to tell people about the positive experiences that I have. A lot of people reach out to me and they ask me, what are some of the differences between Roofr and what I'm currently using, which we've already basically decided there are no other CRMs in the roofing world. But some of the things that you would say separate Roofr from some of the others in the space, if someone was maybe a new company looking to start with a CRM, medium-sized company, maybe not happy with what they're doing, or even a larger scale company that's like, hey, you know what, we want to find something different. What are some of the things that separate Roofr from the others in that space that would be beneficial to people that are looking for something different?
Yeah. So I think there's a few components of it. The main value props that we have is, one, it's a single system to manage your entire business. You don't have to rely on multiple integrations like some of the other platforms. Like, we're, I believe, still the only CRM that has its own native measurement software. We don't do any integrations with others. So that creates a really tight integration from measurement to proposal, and then proposal to invoice to payment to material order, all in one system. Obviously, there's a lot more to the platform than that, but it's an all-in-one platform, one customer service team, one bill, everything under one hood. You're not relying on a bunch of clunky integrations. Really, our only main integration is Company Cam, for photos, and QuickBooks for accounting. So one end-to-end operating system, one platform to kind of replace them all. Two, customer support. I mean, I will put our customer support up against any other platform, and this isn't me just being biased. Like, this is from the roofers. Like, it doesn't compare. And you see some of the other companies now kind of trying to like resemble our customer support and the strategies, and being very active in the groups and really quick turnaround times. Like, I said to my customer support director a few years ago, our SLAs were like 24 hours. I said, no, I want it under 10 minutes. They're like 10 minutes to like get back to a customer? We get thousands of tickets a month. It's like, yeah, okay, so we're gonna have to hire a ton of people. So support is a massive team now. And some of my investors were like, this is a big investment. It's like, yeah, but here's why. I want to get back. I don't want to leave our customers hanging. If they want to talk to a human, they should be able to talk to a human. We shouldn't just deflect them to like a help article. We can, like, it's there if you want to just read something or watch a video, But if you want to talk to a human, you should be able to talk to a human. That's the way that I am. Like, I don't want to talk to a robot sometimes. like fuck, just connect me with a human. I want to have an honest conversation. And then, yeah. So I think that's the big component.
Yeah, I love it, and it absolutely separates from the pack, in my opinion. I think that the fully customization, the full customization that you have available to you through the proposals and such is so badass too. I tell people now, I think I've got the best proposals of anybody in the world. And I know there's probably a bunch of people that think otherwise and think that theirs are the best, but I'm telling you, mine is the best. And it's because of all the stuff you're
yours.
able
They
to
look
add
great.
Yeah. And we just rebranded the company, so I'm changing everything up and putting some new stuff in there, and it just fits. It's so perfect for what we do. And I tell all my friends, I had a guy that I ate lunch with the other day, and we were literally just going over it on my iPad because he was curious. And I said, man, I don't think there are any weaknesses at this point. There are still going to be features that are going to be added as we continue to go. Mm-hmm. And I still need to figure out how to get QuickBooks because it doesn't work on mine. I need to figure out how to do that. But
that's another beauty about the system is on top of the support, a component of that is you have a full implementation team. Like, we don't charge for implementation. There's a lot of other platforms out there where they'll charge you an upfront fee for getting onboarded, which I don't believe in that. And so we have a full implementation team that will walk you through the entire process, set you up, and it is all free. And then the last part to your question, though, third, is we're extremely cost effective. We're not necessarily the absolute cheapest on the market. You'll find other CRM systems out there, but when you think about bundling everything together under one platform, we are a fraction of the cost. You don't have to use an expensive measurement provider, another instant estimator provider, a CRM, and then obviously there's a lot of operational costs in the back end on your team and hours that you're going to spend like managing all of those complex workflows through different softwares. So it's really about streamlining everything under one hood, under one roof, no pun intended. Amazing customer support when you need it, and ultimately saving you a lot of money, and then hopefully making you a lot of money too by streamlining those workflows for you.
There you go. And I can vouch for the entire thing. It works because I use it daily and it's made my life so much easier. We had some other programs that we worked with prior to Roofr's existence. And I tell people, as someone like yourself, I mean, I've been in this industry 28 years. I was a truck driver. I was in distribution. I managed a supply company for a while. I've sold roofs and now I own a roofing company. I've seen everything that you can possibly see as far as systems go, internal systems, whether you're going to write it down on a napkin or a paper towel, depending on how important it is. And those kind of things are a thing of the past now. We're into the future. We're adopting it and everything's working great. I love the fact that you have 250 team members because this is episode 250, and that's a great number.
Yeah,
it's a great number, and we're growing together. So the next question I have is, okay, it's been a whirlwind decade. You've gotten, gone from being a roofer to starting this thing to getting it built up to becoming what it is now, which is premier software. I don't know how many users, and I don't know if you even know how many users there are, but I'm sure there's
over 15,000 monthly.
I was going to say, yeah, there's got to be thousands and thousands at this point. Yeah. And I still feel like you're kind of just hitting your stride. I think that things are just starting to develop. So the question is, the last 10 years has been a building, point to get to where we are. What's the future look like for you personally, for the team at Roofr, for Roofr in general? Is there, a grand game plan at the end of the day where, Richy says, hey, when I'm 50, I'm out of here? Is it going to be one of those things that you just continue, we're looking at Facebook 70 years from now and it's, hey, I'm the CEO of Roofr. What can I help you with?
Yeah.
What's the future look like?
I'm 37 and I still got a ton of gas. I want to be the CEO for as long as I can possibly think. I could not imagine not working at Roofr. I started this company. This is like my baby. I don't have a plan B. I'm not like your typical Silicon Valley, Stanford grad founder, as I mentioned. if this doesn't work, like I'm back up in Canada and I'm probably, starting a roofing company. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I mean, my dad might be a little stressed out, seeing me back on a roof, because he always just get nervous that I'd fall because I didn't wear a safety line ever.
Yeah, and it hurts more the older we get. Trust me.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, there's nothing wrong with going back and building a roofing company, but I think what I really love about Roofr is the impact that we've had on so many roofing contractors' lives and companies. I know it sounds cliche, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm changing the world here. Like, that's not it. But based on the feedback from our roofers, like, we are making a difference in their companies and their lives. Like, we were at the IRE and we had our Shingle and Mingle event, which I don't know who came up with that name, but it's a brilliant name.
It's a great name. I love it. I've been to a few of them.
Yeah, my board, when we were presenting to the board of directors and we mentioned Shingle and Mingle, and they started laughing like, that is brilliant. But anyways, I what was I lost my train of thought there. What was I saying?
Where we're going next 10 years?
Yeah, I want to be here, and because the impact that we're having on roofers is real. So we were at the RE at the Shingle Mingle event, and one of the roofers said, "Hey, you're the CEO?" Like, yeah. He goes, "Man, you're helping me put food on my table." It's like, like, I got a little teary eyed. Like, give me a hug. Like, it was, hearing stuff like that is just so cool, and it's what makes those hard days worth it. Obviously, we're building a company, and you want to make money. But what really gets me fired up and keeps my energy high is like talking to roofers, hearing how the difference we're making, in their lives and their businesses. Like, it means a lot to me. So I want to still be here for as long as possible, as long as the board keeps me on. I have a board of directors now that I report to, but we have no plans to sell anytime soon. I mean, yes, we've raised venture capital, so ultimately there should be some type of exit event. That exit event could be an IPO or a private acquisition, whether it's a strategic or a private equity firm, whatever it is. But we're trucking along, man. Like, things are, like you said, like, we're just scratching the surface. We're kind of just getting started. I hate that cliche saying, but there's so many Silicon Valley founders use it. But yeah, we're just getting started, man. Like, we've got an amazing team behind us. We just kind of started building out this end-to-end operating system, and we've got a ton of users that absolutely love us. And so it's really exciting.
Absolutely. It is very exciting. And I'm stoked just to be a part of it myself in a small way and to see everything continue to grow and develop. And I can't wait to see 5 years, 10 years down the road what you do with this, because it's amazing. It's remarkable. And I do need to kind of go back in time as well. We're going to get ready to start winding down. I got about 10, 12 minutes left of cool. time before I got to get you out to the next appointment. That's the CEO effect right there. Going back in time, okay, I've had people on here from all walks of life, different careers, different businesses, different industries. Everybody's had that breakthrough moment in their life where they're like, you know what, this was the right decision. You put it all on the line. You said, screw this. I'm quitting my job. I've got a nice steady paycheck. I'm working for a good established roofing company. I am going to get rid of that. I'm going to sell my home. I'm going to put everything I have in the middle, and I'm going to start Roofr with no guarantee that it was going to be successful. And at that point in time, honestly, there are already a couple different options in the same genre that you were getting into. Obviously, there's got to be moments where you question your sanity. I would venture to guess it probably happens on an hourly basis, maybe a quarterly, you get into this situation and you start thinking to yourself, holy cow, what have I done? Is this going to work? I want to know this, Richy Nelson. Tell me about the moment that hit you when something happened and you realized, yep, I think I'm onto something now. I think Roofr's going to be successful. Did you have that one singular moment that you can recall where you thought, you know what? It may still all implode at some point, but right now in this moment, I feel like I have made the best choice ever of anybody on this planet.
It's a good question. So there's been a few times where that happened, and I'll share both. There's mainly two. But But when I first started Roofr, like when I was thinking about it, it took me months and I was going back and forth. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It was, I had just bought a house or condo in Toronto. And so I had a mortgage and my parents are like, you got bills to pay. Da, da, da. I was young. So I didn't have kids at the time. So I had a lot of responsibilities. And so it was extremely nerve wracking to think like, I'm going to give up this paycheck. I'm going to sell my house, everything I've been saving for to start this tech company. And I'm not a technology entrepreneur, I'm not an engineer. But my biggest fear in life is looking back on my life and I'm on my deathbed, and this might sound cliche, and having regret. The what if terrifies me. And when I think forward. And so I thought, you know what? I'm still young. I can bounce back. Like, I'm just going to give it a go. When I actually quit my job, I had one of the biggest panic attacks I've ever had. It was weird. It was not that I quit my job. It was, I was almost scared of it working. Like, I was scared of success. And I can't explain it. I was like, what if this blows up and like, I don't know how to build a tech company. I don't know how to manage employees. Like, I've never managed someone in my life. Like, what if this is massively successful? So there was that point. And then when I got the first glimmer of like, I'm onto something, this is working. It wasn't my first customer. First customer was like kind of a referral from a real estate friend. This was on the marketplace. It was, I think, after like maybe like 10 or so customers that I started getting referrals from the original 10 customers that we did. And then it started to snowball. And then roofers are asking me like, hey, I would love to join this thing. And so that's when I had that first glimmer of like, oh man, I'm onto something. Then there was a bunch of roller coasters built in the marketplace. Like there was a lot of challenges with it. And then when we launched the measurement tool, when I saw the revenue go skyrocketing in that first month of us launching the report service to draw the roofs for the contractors, I was like, oh shit, this is working. Like, I've got real data, not real, like revenue coming in this quickly after we launched. Yeah, that was the second time. So that was when we launched the report service, and it was like, holy shit.
Game on.
Yeah. And then there's been a lot of like glimmers of that as well. Like, as we continue to scale, and you see, oh shit, like we're now at 3,000 monthly active companies, 5,000, like 10,000, like, oh my God. And so there's a bunch of those glimmers of, holy shit, this is going to be huge. And it is getting huge. But yeah, those are the two that I remember the most, is after about 10 marketplace jobs. And then I think the first month of launching the Roofr report service.
I love it. And
Yeah.
you can see it coming, and it's like, all right, well, here we go. Time to build something amazing. And you've definitely done that. I can't say that enough. I've got one final question, then one comment I'd like to make before we bid adieu to our fans here today. The question: you've got 15,000 users on Roofr now, which is an amazing accomplishment. However, I know there are way more than 15,000 roofing companies in the world. Let's say that somebody's watching this right now and they were maybe thinking about making a switch. Maybe they're still writing stuff down on a napkin at the restaurant and they're forgetting to order drip edge because they got chicken grease on it and they didn't see that part. And they want to step into the new millennium and they say, you know what? I like this guy. He seems very genuine. Doesn't come across as a douchebag or a guru or anything like that. And I'd like to see more about how I can maybe work with Roofr. What are the best ways for someone to reach out to somebody at your team or have someone at your team reach out to them to see what potentially they could do with you guys?
So the best thing to do is go to roofr.com, ROOFR.com. You can either talk to sales first, or you can sign up for free and you can try the software yourself for free. That's important to me, that you can get that value and see like, oh, this is actually a good fit for me before you commit to anything. So really, if you're the kind of person that wants to talk to sales, you can go to the website, roofr.com. There's a button, talk to sales, or you can just sign up and start using it for free. And then also at that point, sales will reach out to you. And if you want to talk to them, great. If not, you can ignore them and say, no, I'm just trying out the tool right now. No problem. But that is the best way to do it. Also, you can add me on Facebook and reach out to me. I'm happy to chat. Always. It's Richy Nelson, RICHYNELSON. But yeah, those are the two ways to do it.
I love it. And I encourage everybody to do it. And when they reach out to you, don't ignore them. Don't say that you're not just trying it for free. Sign up, because it'll be a game changer for you. And you'll thank us a year from now when you say, you know what? Saw that on Keepin It Rio. And I'm always proud of the fact that people reach out and ask me about Roofr. On a personal note, before we end this episode, two things. Number one, I want to thank you and everybody at Roofr for the association that we have together. It was the most proud moment of my entire life when I got a contract for a sponsorship deal with Roofr. And you guys have been my title sponsor on Keepin It Rio for 4 years now. I am so proud to have that powered by Roofr down at the bottom and to tell people about it and to wear the hat and all that. You guys have been absolutely amazing. Being the Roofr of the month, like I said, this is probably a one-time only deal where the Roofr of the month actually gets to interview the CEO, unless Roofr decides to make some kind of a deal out of it. But even
it's actually
then,
a good idea.
We'll say,
hey,
you know what, Chuck was the pioneer on that one. So I'm super proud of that. And with this being episode 250, I just want to thank every single person that's been on the show. I have had people from all over the world, from all walks of life. I've had, magicians, NASCAR drivers, professional fighters. I've had 42 authors. 26 of them have been bestsellers. I've had entrepreneurs from all different walks of life. I've had coaches. I've had people that have cheated on their husbands in the office and came on to tell me the story about it.
Oh my God.
I've had all kinds of salacious episodes. And to each and every one of those people, I say thank you. I've got a goal of 2,500, so I'm a tenth of the way there. And I always joke and say, yeah, I could do it if nobody watched, because it's still just me paying to do all of it. But the fact of the matter is, people do watch, and I love everybody that does. I appreciate that. And we're going to do another 250 for sure. So maybe episode 500, I can get it lined up right now that I can have Richy Nelson back 250 episodes from now. But I appreciate you taking the time to be here, my friend. This is awesome. And to everybody that watches, thank you. Richy, if you'll stick around for just an extra second after I play this final ad for my amazing sponsor and bid the crowd adieu, we'll finish our conversation and see you guys next week. I always end it with the cheesiest tagline in the world. Keep on keeping it Rio. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Thank you.
We're Roofr. We know that managing a roofing business can be chaotic, so we created a single platform with all the tools you need to easily run your roofing business. Stop switching between multiple different softwares and experience streamlined operations from lead to payments in hours instead of days. Visit roofr.com to get started for free today.